Hey everybody, this is Madicel Coach Sandra D. Johnson, and I want to talk to you about the family, our relationships, specifically when it comes to the topic of listening to each other and equality. I was asked this question: are children equal to adults? And my answer is absolutely yes. Children are equal to adults because they're human. We each are human beings. So when it comes to equity or equality in the home, what are we talking about? Should children be in charge of things? Should they be running things? No, it's not a threat to your position to see your son or your daughter as your equal. Children shouldn't be running things or be in charge of the home, but they should be active participants to help with the flow of family relationships. They are part of the family. They need active responsibilities in the family. It always troubles me when I hear a parent say, "Well, I don't ask them for much." I don't really know if that's a good thing that you're saying. They should be asked for much. They have to be a part of the whole. A family is a package deal. It's not a group of parents just dragging children along just in the journey, or it shouldn't be. It should be everyone in the family doing their different responsibilities, playing their different roles, which, by the way, those roles are always adjusting. Why? Because toddlers don't stay toddlers. Elementary kids don't remain elementary. They grow up. The teenagers should be doing more because they are capable of more than the 5-year-old. So when that teenager learns to drive, they have a new responsibility. Help with transportation needs. Help with going and picking things up. Again, the roles are adjusted as they grow and develop. Children are equal. We need to see them that way. We need to expect more of them as they get older. But it really just starts by saying, I notice you as an equal human. I jokingly will say this statement that when a child turns 18, they can register to vote, but they don't register to become human. They already are. So I say that with a little jest, but the point is, please see your children the way they are as humans who need to learn to be productive in the family. Why am I talking about this being productive in the family? One of the reasons is because I think a lot of unnecessary, undue pressure is placed on the adults as the parents, and they start out rightfully doing everything that that child would need, helping that child. Great. But you don't remain in that role. They have to learn to do things on their own. They have to learn, which we love teaching them, right? To tie their shoe, to brush their teeth, to clean their bodies properly, so on and so forth. You get all of that. So there's progress, but like mentally, sometimes I think we don't progress in our thinking because we don't say that, or really we do think that everything depends on the parents. Everything depends on the adults, and that's dangerous. Because what happens is that you start to see the teenagers who don't have to do a whole lot to help the family because they haven't had to do a whole lot to help their family. And then they get labeled as being entitled. And then they get told that they're selfish or they're lazy or all of these things. Why? Because really equality hasn't been communicated. It hasn't been exercised in the family. We haven't dealt right with equality, the equity. Everyone is valuable. Everyone has to be a contributor to the family. And the sooner you start allowing that and welcoming that, the less stress I think we'll see as they get older. I wrote this statement down, and it says, if we teach and allow our young people to help to relieve stress in the younger years, they won't become the source of stress when they're older. I think that's worth repeating. You see, if we teach and allow our young people to be a relief of stress as they're growing and developing, helping with things, teaching them age appropriate, of course, letting them learn things that are age appropriate to do. They're brilliant. Let their brilliance come to the surface, please. If we teach and allow them to help to relieve stress in the younger years, they will not become the source of stress in their teen and young adult years. And I have seen that as an ugly reality. I hear a lot of families, a lot of parents talk about how stressful that young person is. I've seen the stress and the undue chaos that a young person can bring to a family because of their own personal lack of discipline, their own self-righteousness. It gets in the way of their healthy development. And so that's one of the things I want to encourage as we talk about the family dynamic. The other part of the family dynamic that is being talked about, and we got to just discuss it more and more, is this listening piece. What is listening about? Why is listening important? Those are great questions. Listening is a vital part of every human relationship. But I think it has such a beautiful uniqueness about it when it comes to the family, because family is your first community. Family is your first community. So when we listen, we need to be reminded that listening is a part of our whole self. It is more than these ears. I listen with more than my ears. I listen with my whole being. I have a phrase that I like to use when I feel that I'm not being listened to by someone who may be looking at a device, looking at a television, or reading a book while I'm trying to talk to them. And they want me to talk to them, but they're looking at something else. Their eyes are not on me. And I will say, will you please listen to me with your eyes? I need you to listen to me with your eyes. What I'm asking is for more engagement, because listening is about engagement. It engages everything about me, all of my senses, all of my emotions. True listening, catch this, true listening has to do with intimacy. It's a beautiful thing when you listen with your whole self. Everyone wants to be seen, heard, and they need to be needed. Every one of us. That's what acknowledgement is. You see, listening is acknowledging, and equality is acknowledging. So it encompasses all of my humanity. So listening in the family is very important. You see, listening is about connection as well. So when I am not listening, or when someone is not feeling like they're being heard or listened to, here's what it produces. It produces brokenness. It produces stress. It produces a disconnect. We're so intolerant when we are not listening. It's going to create power struggles, more power struggles. It's going to create hostility. How about a lack of listening can produce anxiety, depression, and it'll even lead to suicide? That's how important listening is. And it's important that we listen to what we're missing if we really want to improve our family dynamics. So the last thing that I'll say is strategies for us to improve this issue with our listening. One of the strategies is to take about 10 minutes with your family and just challenge them to just have a listening session. We're going to have a listening session. So we're going to put away our devices. We're going to turn off any extra sounds, noises, TVs, music, headphones, gaming systems. Just turn those off. Have a 10-minute listening session. Like a jam session, if you know what that is, but a 10-minute session. And that's just a starter. So if you can do 10 next time, do 20. Next time, do 30. I'm not asking you to take a 24-hour listening session. No, I'm asking you to start with the basics so that you can build on your healthy family dynamics. So another strategy is going to be accept help by listening to videos like this, sharing videos like this, making comments, asking more questions. That's a way to make an improvement. Another strategy is going to be for you to check your volume and the content of what you're saying. If you are screaming and saying things that are poisonous or hurtful or just ugly, people around you are not going to want to listen to that. They're going to continue to shut you down. They're going to close you out. It adds to the dysfunction in the relationship. So check your volume and your content. The other thing is going to be to reject some of your traditions. We have to stop using these things by saying, yeah, my family, we talk to each other like this, and I grew up this way, and that's how it is. Just because it's always been that way and you came out of that environment doesn't mean it was good for you. And it definitely doesn't mean it's good for your family. It definitely doesn't even mean that it fits in this millennia. So if you need to just cut some old traditions off, please do that. That is a helpful strategy if you want to have some stronger family dynamics. Another one I like to say is we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so naturally we should be listening twice as much as we speak. That's just an anatomy and a math issue there. And the last one I would say is start with a clean slate. When you have your 10-minute jam session, maybe start it out by apologizing, by saying, you know what, I was wrong for the way that I haven't been listening as the mom in this family, or the dad in this family, or the teenager says, I was wrong for the way I don't listen to you. I hear maybe 2% of what you say because my opinion, I think, is more important anyway. Just go ahead and be transparent. Go ahead and be honest. Apologize for the hurt and start with a clean slate. It's beautiful. It's the best way. These are some helpful strategies for your listening, for taking a look at equality and equity. We need each other. No one is greater than, no one is less than, but everyone is equal in your family. Let's champion that as we change the narrative and work better for stronger family dynamics in the 21st century. You can do it. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me. Bye-bye.